Episode 3.
Episode 3. Yet to be named podcast.
Let's go.
That's right.
Fire it up.
Fire it up. A lot has happened since the last time we chatted.
100 days of Trump.
Yes. More now. I don't know. 104.
104 days of Trump.
There you go. It's been quite a ride.
Quite a ride. We're going to talk about tariffs.
Tariffs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think all the economic intersections of what's been happening.
Okay.
And try and see whether we know anything or what we've learned out of it.
Yeah.
I think one thing we've learned is that usually planning for things helps you to achieve outcomes. And I'm not sure what the plan is right now on the tariffs, but we're seeing some outcomes.
I think Trump likes to be random, so people are nervous.
He likes them to be nervous, or he likes to be random, and nervousness is just a consequence of that?
I think, for example, he wants every country to move their stuff to America, all their manufacturing to America.
Sure.
So he's inherently always like looming, like he's going to do something crazy.
Right.
To everybody who's not manufacturing in America.
Okay.
So he's causing a lot of onshoring.
Right.
Through his unpredictability.
Do you think he's causing a lot of onshoring? Because I'm not sure the data suggests that
I'm nervous.
That we're going to onshore a lot so much as we're just going to contract the whole economy. And maybe in 5 years there will be onshoring. But it takes a while to build a manufacturing facility.
Now, would you want to be Jerome Powell right now?
Not for all the money in the world.
Hey,
how do you set a Fed policy when the environment is just random?
Well, I think we've learned a lot though about Trump also because I also think it was important that he acquiesced. He's been coming out guns firing from my perspective, right?
Yes, completely agree.
And he's been following through on a lot of promises.
Yes.
So he backed down on the tariffs when the Treasury market responded sharply. He backed down, which I guess to me showed me has limits. He'll respond to the environment, if that makes sense.
But
he's being a bit pliable.
What environment was he responding to? I mean, I read the same things around the bond markets, right? The big bond sell-off and all of that. But
hey, those are the power brokers of the world. Those guys that hold those treasuries.
The bond brokers.
Now, I hold a few treasuries, but I'm not talking about myself here.
You didn't call up? You're like, I will sell
Nobody called me. Nobody called.
Fair enough. But yeah, I mean, I think he's always responded to external pressures when the pressures are strong enough.
Yeah. More in the first term, though.
Yes, but I think also because he had people who were more responsive to those, right? And I think that Trump, at the end of the day, is deeply committed to making decisions and moving things forward, but very much as the chief executive officer. Like, here's my order. Now somebody figure out how to implement that thing. And so I think in the first administration, he had a lot more people around him saying, we can't actually do that, right? And so then you're almost prematurely prevented from doing, whereas in this administration, I think you see a lot more people who are like, okay, I don't know exactly what this will look like, but exactly. So we're seeing it work differently, but I don't know what pressure he was responding to. I've been reading and trying to understand really well the history of like how the Chinese Communist Party has interacted with different governments all over the world. Right. And I'm certainly not well enough versed to be an expert in how that looks. But I think right now what we're trying to say is, how do we untangle that knot? Like, leave the rest of the world aside with the 10% across the board tariffs and all that other stuff. Like, how do you untangle that China-US trade war that has functionally made trade impossible at tariffs over 100%?
I guess I look at it entirely different.
Okay.
And I look at China as a great tool for our country.
Okay. How so?
They got people that are willing to manufacture our crap.
Sure.
And those people work so hard and are so darn good at what they're doing.
Right.
And people here don't want to work in factories.
No.
That's the part everyone's forgetting.
Right.
You can't even find a dishwasher in Bangor, Maine.
So what do? I mean, that's the problem. We've put in place a tariff policy to bring manufacturing back to the United States. And I think, to your point, if you're going to take immigration off the table and say no more immigration, that's not what we're doing, right? And we bring back in all of this still quite labor intensive, although I am convinced 100% that the onshoring of manufacturing will be automated to a level that Americans have never seen in their manufacturing. And automated to a level where things that are making much simpler devices look an awful lot like producing silicon or semiconductors, where it is basically all robots and clean rooms and all that other stuff. You're just going to see a level of automation. So it's not like you're going to bring a lot of employment back. You might bring manufacturing activity back.
My only counter argument to that is like, I love robots, have since I was a little kid, you know?
Okay, yeah.
And ultimately now, I really dream of a robot that'll I want a Martha Stewart robot bad.
I don't even know what that means. What is a Martha Stewart robot?
That's a joke, but it's like, I come home and she's got some Martha Stewart food waiting for me.
Right.
And I got a clean house, my laundry done.
Right.
So
you want a robot.
I want a gourmet chef.
There you go.
I want them to go out in the field.
Right.
This little robot goes out in the backyard, picks the vegetables, comes in, chops them up, cooks them up.
I can see the appeal of that. I can also say that we're real far away from that robot.
That's your point, right?
Yeah.
So my point back, but I could hire a human being to do that pretty easy.
Sure.
And I think we saw that with Elon Musk.
Yeah.
That's an example I'm thinking about a lot.
Right.
He tried to make that. He's manufacturing in California.
Right.
Which is the nightmare of nightmares
to
hire somebody.
Right.
Like, this is the worst place in the world to have an employee.
That might be a little hyperbolic, but...
All right. Maybe not the worst in the world, but as far as America goes...
Okay.
Maybe New Yorkers... you might find some little niche spot that's worse, but...
Okay.
Anyways, so of course he wants to hire robots.
Right.
He tries to robotize his whole factory.
Yep.
And he ends up reverting back to a lot of human interaction. Now, there's certain things that humans are good at, certain things humans...
Yeah. Right.
But I guess in my head, I think humans are undervalued.
Really?
Absolutely. I do.
By who?
Their usefulness in the manufacturing process.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah.
Hey, for what you pay them, you get a lot of bang for the buck.
Oh, 100%.
I guess is what I'm saying. It's like I could hire someone to do that with my house for like $40 an hour or something, right?
Right.
And I'd probably have to spend $400,000 to get a robot.
Oh, more than that, I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's a 7-figure robot.
Okay.
It's crazy. I mean...
Right.
Yeah.
I probably got to have some MIT guy doing the software programming.
Exactly. And every week he comes and he's like, oh, you added another step going out your back door? Hold on, we got to reprogram the whole thing or it's going to fall on its face and then sit there trying to chop the ground or whatever.
Or I could probably right now think about 10 people that could do that cooking for me.
Exactly. And would be happy to do it. And they would get some fulfillment out of doing it. Whereas the robot's going to get nothing out of that.
And I personally, I have beliefs that we have to do things in America to make us more competitive.
Yeah.
And we've done things that are a drag on ourselves.
Right.
And those are harder things to fix.
Right.
But I personally, I'm not a fan of tariffs. And I definitely wasn't a fan of Trump's approach.
Right.
I looked at it like you went to a schoolyard, right? And if you go to a new schoolyard, let's say you got to establish yourself on said schoolyard.
I like how your schoolyard's sounding like a prison yard already. Keep going.
I went to school at Etna Dixmont, okay?
All right.
Elementary school.
Okay.
These are a bunch of these are tough kids.
Sure.
A lot of their parents are like loggers. And
yeah.
these are tough kids.
Okay.
So you could take some whoopings if you weren't careful.
All right.
In the prison yard.
Got it.
Edna Dixmont Elementary. So you get there and you don't pick a fight with 20 kids.
Right.
You go find one kid.
Right.
And you go lay down the deal and establish yourself with one kid.
Sure.
You establish a precedent.
Right.
You know, but you don't start a fight with 20 people at once.
Completely agree.
Just if you're gonna, I'm not saying you should have started a fight at all.
Right.
But if you're gonna start a fight,
yep,
pick one.
I completely
start
agree.
with one.
Right. Right. It was like we got it in our heads. I mean, obviously the tariffs in China that were established in Trump's first term were not undone by the Biden administration. So it wasn't like you had made this effort and then the Biden administration had backed off them. As it related to China, we stayed the course there, right? And there was a broad recognition. And for Trump to come in and take that and then, like you said, expand it to everybody, ally, enemy. Apparently we are tariffing island nations that have literally nobody who lives on them.
Penguins.
Right, exactly.
Penguins.
Exactly. If they want to produce anything, them, 10% tariff. Right, we've got everything. And I completely agree. You can't... Who?
It was probably Zuckerberg.
Who tariffed the penguins?
Yeah, he actually got that put into the chart.
Okay.
For the memes.
Got it.
Do you know how much money Facebook probably made off
Probably real good.
liberals passing around those memes?
But
the penguin meme, you know
what's
the
crazy
ammunition?
I was reading this morning
Yeah.
that because of the tariffs, the social media companies and everybody who basically makes all their money on ads right now, they're going to see a significant decrease in ad revenue because of all of those companies that were promoting, cheap products, Shein and Temu and whatever.
Yeah.
Like their advertising is basically going to zero because they know they can't sell products anymore.
Yeah.
So you're going to drive down. Yeah, you're going to drive down the price of advertising because now you've got that much less volume of advertising that's happening on these platforms. I mean, it's amazing the way that you think about it's not just impacting the consumers or manufacturing, it's going to impact the entire economy across the board with first order, second order, third order effects.
Agreed, of course. And I guess for me, again, it's like we have to focus on why America is becoming a hard place to do business. That's the long play.
Right.
But that's the hard play.
Right.
Fixing our own self.
The regulatory stuff is just that should have been job one. If you want to say we've got to make America great again by making it so that entrepreneurship, manufacturing, hard work leads to everything that we purport to
labors.
Right.
Yeah.
It purports to be built on this notion of bootstrapping and all of that agentic effort. The first thing you got to do is deal with the regulatory regime. I mean, how in the world would you onshore manufacturing when you can't build a manufacturing plant because you can't get it through the EPA process? and forget about the federal stuff. Like, say you could just sign a pen. How the hell do you get it through state and local regulatory environments?
I'll tell you what. You know what? Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger had a great example, and I love it.
All right.
He'd say, I dare you to try and compete with Snickers. Like, try and put a Snickers bar out of business.
Yeah.
And you... Right?
Right.
I dare you to try and start a wood cutting company in Maine.
Yeah.
Like, you want to get sued?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, if you were a lawyer, that'd probably be the key.
Right.
To starting a law firm. Like, hey, we need some business.
Right.
How are we going to get this business?
Right.
Let's start a logging company.
Right.
And, because first the environmental lawyers are just going to start suing.
Right.
Like crazy.
Right.
Have you tried to buy a piece of timber from Maine?
Oh, yeah. It's so expensive. It's unbelievable.
You can't. Yeah, it's basically essentially if you go to
Lowe's
or Hartt, you get Canadian.
You can't get it there, right? You have to go to somebody who felled trees and then made lumber.
Yes.
In the state with some sort of small mill.
Yeah. That's the only way.
I know.
So my point to you is, okay, so now by us tariffing Canadian lumber coming in,
right?
Who's that really hurting? It's a tax on us.
Sure. Yep.
Like I build a house.
Right.
That's essentially a tax on me.
Right.
You want to bring manufacturing back to America.
Right.
We have to fix our systematic problems.
Yep. Right.
That's the real key.
Right. So how did we end up where what we're doing is fighting about tariffs?
I think it's because the way the presidency is designed.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that he can implement tariffs.
Sure. I mean, sort of.
I know.
depends on who you read about where we're at with that. But
yeah.
But he obviously can't undo regulations, right? That
traditionally,
is
the president has had the power to implement tariffs in the United States.
Yeah.
So that's a tool that he can readily use that he doesn't have to rely on the Senate for.
Right.
And I think that...
I don't think he has either the House or the Senate to undo the regulation. Because the problem is all of that stuff is locked up with all these private interests, right? And when everything is so closely divided, 52-48, whatever the House is, right? But
three votes
with a 3-vote majority, you're sitting there going, can we get anything passed? I mean, even things that would normally be clearly supported by Republicans are not supported by every Republican. Like no party is that unified. And so the ability to get things done, I mean, I think you're going to see that in this budget battle that's coming up. I mean, it sounds like it's going to be crazy because you got people who understand all the priorities, but they're like, but if it increases the deficit at all, I'm out. Well, you lose 4 people and that's it.
I don't know who that guy is, but I vote for them.
The Tea Party.
I vote for them.
The 6 of them, or the Dirty Dozen, or whatever they were that sunk.
Godspeed.
The guy before Johnson's
Godspeed.
Speakership.
They did.
Yeah.
And they call them all these bad names in the media too. And
sure.
I find that. Yeah. You know what? I think that brings me to one of my favorite solutions, of course.
What's that?
We don't pay our politicians unless they balance the budget.
Well, that would be...
and I don't mean like a main
solution.
I don't mean like how they balance the main budget either.
Right.
Where they're like, oh, this little, Medicare money or whatever.
Right.
That bill, we'll push that to the side.
Right.
And we'll call this a balanced budget.
Sure.
No one look at that bill over there.
Right.
I think, did we get Enron? Did the state of Maine just get Enron?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I don't know enough about the special purpose entities that were created there. But
that's it. They got to call it Jedi.
Yeah.
What are we going to call the state of Maine funds?
I don't know. I don't know my Star Wars lore well enough.
Yeah.
I think you got to go to the Star Trek if you're going to be.
They had a bunch of them. They named a bunch of those special funds. Yeah.
But if you were going to do that, you could do that particularly within the context of then paying politicians more money.
Oh, whoa!
Hold on. Listen.
Oh, I don't like where we're going. It should be voluntary.
How do you incentivize the best performance?
I guess maybe I worry about being. How do I incentivize the best performance? Okay, usually you tie it to results.
Right. So if you said, for Congress to get paid, here are the 4 things you must do. You must balance the budget. You must, maintain a functioning and globally dominant defense force. You must, protect the environment for future generations. And you must whatever. Like, we come up with 4 things, right? We set some clear goalposts. And then we say, if you're a member of Congress and you achieve these results, we're not going to pay you less money than you could make being a master electrician. We're going to pay you $1 million a year. But you don't hit those benchmarks, you're fired or you don't get paid.
I love it in theory.
Because how else are you going to get the people who are going to work that hard? Because if you put those 4 priorities out there, balance the budget, protect the environment for future generations, maintain a globally competitive defense force, and whatever, like those are competing priorities in a lot of ways because a bunch of them cost a bunch of money, and then you got to balance the budget. You got to get the best damn people in the room working really hard on that stuff.
I think the best damn people will love to serve.
I think they'll
I have
love
a
to
perfect
serve
example
for a while, but maintaining it is the hard work.
I disagree, and I have a perfect example.
Okay.
Fighter pilots.
Uh-huh.
These people
Mm-hmm.
are like the tip of the spear.
Sure.
Of human beings.
Okay.
My perfect example that I always think about, the weekend I graduated from boot camp, right?
Yep.
I watched an air and water show in
Mm-hmm.
Chicago at the Navy Pier.
Okay.
You know, Great Lakes is where I graduated. Sure. I have the weekend off or whatever.
Sure.
My grandma and I go to the air and water show.
Right.
The guy takes a jet, right? Yep. Flies it straight up high as can be.
Right.
Stalls it out.
Right.
Like literally drives the thing backwards.
Right.
Okay. Flips it like this and hits the burners.
Yep.
And looked like he had touched the water.
Right.
He's making like $100,000 a year.
Sure.
Okay. And he's literally like of all of us as humans, right? If we stack us all up into a triangle.
Right.
Greatness.
Right.
He's like, he probably got the highest marks in physics. Sure. As some of like the Naval Academy. Sure. You know this. Their physics is like world class. Sure. This guy's probably a super bright guy. Right. Physically, he's a specimen. Sure. Or she. And $100,000. Sure. He'll do 20, 30 years and love it. Right. Service. Sure. I want our politicians being that same way.
But there are obvious other advantages that person has. Yeah. In addition to a service mentality.
Are we talking about the fighter jet?
The fighter jet, yeah. I mean, you could probably, if you didn't blow up the market, there's no world in which you would need to pay these professional athletes what you pay them.
Whoa!
Any of those guys would play that game for less money. Not compared to my peers, but like if all of a sudden you were back to the salaries we had in the 80s, those guys all played.
Nope. I agree to a degree. But here's what happens is the pathways.
Sure.
Right? The NFL. Sure. By giving their guys a sweet deal. Yep. They make little kids. Yep. Their dads go, you should play in the NFL, lad. Sure. Your kid is a big old boy, like right. You got yourself a little Mike DeVito, right? A little solid, little thick little thing, you know. Right. You go, hey lad, I got an idea. Right. But if fighting is paying peanuts, right, and NFL is paying, right, these big boys are all going to the NFL. Sure. We're not going to have any of these guys go to the fighting. Right. Fighting's paying.
Isn't that the same problem, though? I mean, how many people that could be fighter pilots aren't? Because they're like, to hell with that. I can make way more money going and doing high-frequency trading just adjacent to the St. Louis Fed.
Maybe, but I guess my point is I want people that are serving as politicians. That's the ideal to me.
What do you mean serving?
They're serving their country. They're serving a greater good. Okay. They're serving their future of our people. Right. Not themselves. Right. That's the ideal politician. Is someone putting everybody ahead of themselves. Sure.
Yeah. I mean, I think that it requires a belief that the best of us want nothing more than to govern the least of us. And I don't believe that that's true. The people who aspire to be president don't do it, by and large, for the service as the highest and the ideal call.
Doesn't feel that way, does it?
No, it does not. It seems like
power
and influence, and obviously an inclination to leave their mark on the world, right? But it doesn't seem like the primary orientation is a service to others.
I think you actually really hit something important when you talked about the timelines of like the lawyer. I think you were talking about like a lawyer or whatever, but I think timelines are where it's at too, because, you know, if I come in and as a president, right, I come in and I spend a bunch of money. Right. And I do a bunch of programs and like, maybe that's the best thing for a segment of the population for 3-4 years.
Right.
But over the course of 100, I just
right.
damned you all to a fiscal nightmare.
Right.
Which, make no mistake, we both know.
Right.
If you don't have your fiscals in order, you can't have nothing nice.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, we lack a real long-termism in the U.S. entirely. I mean, I think
3 weeks.
It's overwhelming. I mean, you just see it even in the criticisms about what's happened for publicly traded companies. I mean, we're doing these quarterly earnings calls where literally we have dozens of analysts every quarter on a call asking probing questions. Well, you were 2 cents per share under this quarter, so what's going on? Well, if we're investing for 20 years from now, I mean, that's the greatest thing about what an entrepreneur who is still a majority owner or a significant owner can do, is can back the pressure off of all of this stuff and say, look, in 20 years, we're going to be here. I don't know where we're going to be in 3 years, but as long as we keep an eye on where we need to be in 20 years, like we're going to do this, we're going to figure it out, we're going to work hard and be entrepreneurial. But if every quarter I've got to make my earnings estimate, I got to beat it in order to get my bonus or keep my job or keep the press from belittling and skewering me, that's not going to work. We can't be long-term oriented if every quarter we're being held to results that are in many ways not the point.
That problem kind of fixes itself to me in a way. I'm not saying it has for everybody.
Okay.
But certain companies do keep their sights long term. And I guess for me, I think it's really important with the timeline we use because of the morality involved.
Right.
If we look at things on a short timeline, oftentimes we're not making the moral choice.
Right.
If I'm living for a short timeline, I've been listening, forgive me for always listening to these war movies or memoirs or whatever, right? Or reading these books.
Right.
But I've been listening to this guy, Hackworth, his name is. His book's about face.
Right.
And it's about Korea and Vietnam.
Right.
And he's like a combat veteran, one of these frontline guys.
Right.
Living for a very short time.
For next weekend.
Yeah. So you let this guy, they would send him to Japan. The guys, when they were in Korea, they were doing this heavy, crazy fight.
Oh, yeah.
Then they'd get 5 days. They'd send him to Japan for 5 days.
Oh, my God.
Half of them would be arrested.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And they don't care.
Right.
Well, because you go to jail, that's probably a lot better where you're going back
to. Probably a hell of a lot better. Yeah.
I'd be like, hey.
Right. But it didn't fix itself there, right?
I guess what I'm saying is that's maybe even the constant battle of humanity.
It is.
Yeah. It's people doing stuff for short-termism.
Right. How do you select for that, though? How do you identify a leader who's got a long-term perspective? Because you can have all the people down in, as if you've got a leader and then a leadership structure that understands, here's the 20-year vision.
Yeah.
There's going to be a bunch of stuff you guys have to manage down here. It's really important that we manage it well.
Yeah.
But I understand all of these people are not going to be able to have that perspective.
But they'll do better.
But they'll do better, right? And I'll do this. But how do you find that person? Unless they're an entrepreneur starting their own company and maintaining that control, how do you bring in the next CEO of Berkshire Hathaway? Because Buffett announced yesterday, that's it, I'm done, 60 years, right? And he's been handpicked successor, but does that guy have a 40-year vision for Berkshire Hathaway? I mean, I'm sure that Warren thinks so, but how do you select?
I know how Warren did, and I think he did a great job. For one, he started bringing Greg on a while.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Long-term succession plan.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he's been having him answer questions.
Yep.
And having shareholders like me get to know him.
Yeah.
Because we're all rabid fans.
Sure. Right.
The meeting, of course.
Right.
I think yesterday's was the busiest I think they've ever been. In Omaha.
Right.
But anyways, Greg has substantial ownership. A lot of his pay has been in Berkshire stock.
Yeah.
Which I think that helps give that long-term perspective. I think ownership, like you were alluding to earlier, helps give long-term perspective.
Right. So how would you do that in Congress?
I think the key, I guess we as a system have to ultimately select people who have a sense of ownership.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is they act like America is theirs and treat it that way.
Right.
And I don't mean as in theirs as in their personal piggy bank. You know what I mean?
We've got plenty of people who are there.
Yeah, I think we can find them.
Right.
And maybe we have a form that we fill out and it says, "Are you a giant narcissist?" No. What percentage of politicians are giant narcissists?
What would be amazing is if you're so narcissistic that you're like, hell yeah, I am.
Jack, yeah.
I will definitely own that. It's all about me.
Would Trump check the box? No, he wouldn't call himself that.
No, he would not call himself that.
No, he would not.
It requires a level of intellectual honesty that,
You don't think he's intellectually honest?
I don't think that he would say that. I think he would say, like, this tariff thing, like, I've got a whole plan for this and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll end up someplace great. I have no idea.
Yeah.
There's definitely no plan around tariffing the whole world. I mean, back to your schoolyard / prison yard. Dixmont and elementary school, right? Like, you don't go in there and you're like, here's what I'm going to go do. I'm not just going to start a fight with 20 people. I'm going to start a fight with I'm going to call it the whole school.
Where's Harkins? Where's Harkins?
Just one at a time. Just line up and beat the crap out of me.
Where's Harkins?
Doesn't make any sense, So, but I just don't think that he sees this as being anything other than, brilliant. Because he'll be able to negotiate deals with everybody. But you can't do that. It doesn't work that way. You can't negotiate with everybody all at the same time. It's just not possible.
I agree.
And so I think that I think it'd be really interesting to think through. Okay, so if you were going to say, well, let's take pay off because we don't want anybody to do this because of pay. We want them to do it because of service, right? And we want them to have a sense of ownership. How do you select for that?
That's a great question. And I guess what's tough is we have different perspectives on what is service.
Yeah.
And, like for me and anybody with some common sense, they're very concerned about the budgetary expenditures of our country.
Yeah.
When we can't pay our bills.
Right.
It's going to get ugly.
I think everybody is concerned about our deficits.
I don't think so.
Well, that's I'm sure that's true, right?
I bet 50%.
Well, I don't think it's that high. I mean, I think of people who understand what running a budget deficit.
Now, whoa. Okay, yeah, sure.
But
which is what, 10% of the population?
Sure, but you could say the same thing is true of everything, right? You could ask people what's great coffee, and 90% of people would be like McDonald's, because that's what they drink, right? Like whatever. So, but of people, I think there are concerns. I think what we don't agree on is, okay, so if budget deficits are deeply problematic, and we need to dig out of them, what do we get rid of? That's where we should be able to have intellectually honest, knock down, drag out fights about what is the space that the government should spend money on. If we're going to bring our budget, we're going to truly balance the budget, and actually because of the deficit, we actually need to go beyond
surplus,
right? We need an actual surplus so we can start paying down this
$35 trillion,
right?
And we're paying 400% interest on that $35 trillion,
right?
So we have to make the payment, which is $1 trillion,
right?
Now,
right. So you do that, right? So you say we're going to do all of that. The hard work that should exist is to say, okay, what is actually the good?
I agree.
Right? And then we can have those things, and they can be tough, and they can be rigorous, and they can be just flat out philosophical disagreements that exist, as long as everybody said, here's the baseline. Here's the inviolable first principle.
Yeah.
Our problem is we got a bunch of people running all sorts of things, not just politically, who are oriented towards their own direct or indirect self-interest.
100%.
But I don't know how you, because anybody who's a good combination of engaging in cognitive dissonance and liar will tell you, oh no, I understand, like, and we got to do this, and we got to do that, and I understand, I have a long-term vision, and I think how you select those people is crazy. You definitely can't do it on the basis of 30-second political ads on Facebook.
You can't?
You cannot. Oh, it's a shocker. I know. You'd have to actually know your candidate. You'd have to actually care about what are their principles, right? And that would require that those candidates then go talk to people, which seems to be another thing we're not doing so much anymore.
No. Hey, let's take a break.
Yeah. The pizza thing. What's the pizza
back
thing? Yes. We're not as hardcore as the hardcore podcasters do. 3-hour, no break.
No, Sean always takes huge breaks every hour.
Yeah?
Because then he can throw a little commercial in there.
There you go. Perfect. Let's do that. Okay, the pizza thing.
Yeah, so we're talking about allocating the budget, right? And like, how do we prioritize?
Right.
And everyone wants us to spend differently.
Right.
Or like almost everyone, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Because as human beings, we're unique.
Right.
Okay. We have different
Pizza thing.
priorities.
Right.
But here's my thinking.
Sure.
Say we go to a pizza joint.
Okay.
Let's say there's 5 of us.
All right.
And 3 of us have money.
Okay.
And 2 of us are like, hey, time's been tight, Jason.
Right.
And those 2 people that don't have money,
Sure.
do they get to choose what kind of pizza the group gets? So let's say those other 3.
Sure.
Those other 3, they've got the money.
Sure.
To buy the pizza.
Okay.
And they're like, hey, we'll cover you.
Okay.
If I was one of those 2,
right.
Or let's say you were one of those 2,
Sure.
how would you feel about asking for what kind of pizza you want?
Well, I would ask. Why
You
wouldn't
would?
I? Why wouldn't I?
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't?
No.
You're a vegetarian, and I'm like, fucking getting meat lovers.
I wouldn't eat.
What do you think? And you're like, oh, I'm not going to say anything
wouldn't
because
eat.
I'm not paying?
Absolutely not.
That's crazy.
I mean,
What if somebody asks you, like, hey,
if they
what
ask,
type of
that's
pizza
different.
do you want?
Hey, if they ask, you give them your opinion.
Okay.
Maybe. But all I'm saying is if you can't pay, I don't think you have the right to ask. I think you take what you're given.
I don't agree with that at all. Like,
If
I think
you
you
went to-
ask.
Okay.
You don't demand. You don't say, we are not eating pizza today, even if you guys are paying, if we don't get the pie that I want.
I could see this.
Sure.
If, like you and I, we go back and forth,
Sure.
right? Like, hey, we'll go here, and I pay, you pay,
Right.
whatever.
Right.
So if you came and you're like, oh, I didn't have my wallet
Right.
today.
Sure.
This is a different situation.
Sure.
That's not like, that's a little friendship credit or whatever. Of course
Okay.
you could get what you wanted
Sure.
there.
Right.
But what I'm saying is if times are tough in the Harkins household,
Sure.
and your pizza budget is 0,
Okay.
and I guess you, me, and another friend go to the pizza place,
Right.
and we're going to order 1 large pie for the 3 of us.
Right.
And you're not chipping in on said pie.
Got it.
I personally think you should probably keep your mouth shut
Right.
when the decision-making time comes around.
Okay. You would offer nothing.
0.
You would just say nothing.
Not a word.
Okay.
There's 0 chance that I'm speaking up when I don't have funds to contribute.
Okay. I just don't agree with that.
Wow.
I think you just ask. What's the harm in asking?
I guess,
I mean, I guess if you believe that those people with the money are so likely to be swayed or in some other way to be influenced unduly to do something that is against their own interest because you've asked, then maybe there's some sort of downside to you saying, hey, could we get a vegetarian pie? Right? And then they're like, no, we're doing one, and we both want pepperoni. I'd be like, all right.
I guess I feel
but like, why wouldn't you ask? I mean, that's like negotiation and selling 101. If you don't ask, you can never get. Just asking doesn't mean you're going to get your way, but you have to ask.
What about going and getting a job and then having a few bucks to contribute for the pizza?
But again,
then you
like, you're not.
up.
You can't. I'm not saying that by asking you're demanding. You're not saying like if this doesn't happen, then this is the consequence. You're saying I have a preference. Let me reveal that preference to the world. And then ultimately, that preference might be ignored.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, okay, sure, you can go, post on your Facebook page, my favorite pizza is garlic and onion.
Okay.
Sure, that's one thing.
Okay.
But if, again,
right,
you and I and another friend
sure
go to the pizza joint.
Yeah.
And you're paying, and I'm
right.
not.
Right.
I'm not saying a word.
Well, there you go.
I think you should keep your mouth shut.
I think we're different in that way. I don't think there's any cost to asking.
I think you have to contribute to have a say.
But I mean, presumably I am contributing in some way, right? Because we're all getting pizza together. Like, unless it's...
now we're getting complex.
Unless it's
this is getting into
unless I'm like holding you all hostage, but not taking your money and like forcing my way into the lunch...
What if it's like, but what if the pizza we're giving you is charity? Wouldn't that be, it's charitable pizza?
What do you mean?
I mean, we're giving it to you out of...
So now we're no longer eating together. You're showing up, you've paid for the pizza, and you're like, here?
No, I mean, I guess... Right, it's interesting because, and it's almost as complex as society is.
Right.
And I know you're making a point.
Right.
But I don't think... I think that's the essence of property rights.
But no one's infringing on your rights by making a request. Ooh. They're only infringing on your rights when they do something to infringe on the rights.
Sure.
And saying words is not infringing on your property rights.
Right, but spending money is.
Sure.
It's a surefire
Now,
way.
as soon as they force you to spend money
with
to
taxes.
buy them a pie.
Yes.
Right?
That's essentially what's happening.
Well,
they're coming to my house.
Sure.
And they're threatening me.
Right.
Ultimately, it's violence is why we pay taxes, right?
Sure, yeah.
Because they're going to kick you out of your house and let someone else live there.
Right.
If you don't pay your taxes.
Okay.
It's a protection money. It's like the mob, right?
Taxes?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Do you want to have national defense? You got to have some way to pay for that.
I do.
You got to have taxes.
Right, I agree. But now the problem is I think you have to be very, very careful about where that tax money goes. Since I don't have a choice.
Right. But I think that's the essence of what you and I were talking about, right?
Yes.
If you had some first order principle that says budget deficits, except in times of maybe war or whatever. I mean, I'm sure there are reasons why you would run budget deficits according to good, solid economic theory, right? But in times of peace and in times of whatever, right, we don't run budget deficits.
Yes.
Right? If that's the inviolable first principle.
They got to start a war if they want a deficit.
That's right.
There's some incentives.
Weird incentives, but I'm just saying, like, if we say that that's the thing, right, then we have to have really hard debates where we yell at each other, we disagree, and we say, like, you say 80% of tax revenue should go to military, and I say 20%. Like, one of us is going to get our way. Actually, probably neither of us are going to get our way, but somebody's going to get their way. But we're all going to say, but we all acknowledge that we do have things that we need government to do. Period. There are some things that cannot be solved. They are collective action problems. Absent government cannot be done. Right? Now, what those things are and what that mix is the stuff we should debate.
That's where we get the gloves off.
And that's where we get the gloves off. But as long as our problem right now is we can't even agree on that first order principle, right? We've got people who are like, to hell with it. Like, we can always spend more money because that grows our economy and da 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 da, right? Like, whatever that argument is, right? Then you got people that are like, there should be no damn government and like, just get rid of it all and let's go full anarchist or, whatever it is. And in between there, we've got all these people in the middle who are like, well, a little bit of budget deficit's okay as long as it's on my stuff, not on your stuff, and then we end up trapped, right? So we have to have some fundamental first principle that we agree to. But if we all agree,
I think the first fundamental. What about? I'm not sure. Again, if you don't contribute to the
right,
how much say do you get in the pie?
Right. But what's the contribution? Like, what does it mean? Is the only way you get a say if you pay taxes?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so if you're somebody who, like, how much taxes do you have to pay? Like $1?
No, what if
your vote more equal to the number of tax dollars you
What
put
if
in?
we figure out basically what it costs to defend the country? Those essential services for the government
that we cannot agree on. Keep going.
That we cannot agree on.
Okay.
Defense.
Sure.
Court system.
Okay.
A few basic things to keep the ship running.
Okay.
That amount.
Okay.
Divided by every payer.
Right. So what if I'm, an entrepreneur?
Yeah.
Right. And I'm basically paying myself in stock options, which means I'm not paying taxes.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm contributing, right?
Yeah.
I'm employing a lot of people.
Yeah, yeah.
Do I not get a say?
Now, again, that guy
because I got no income, right? I've got C Corp. I'm paying myself in stock options. I'm Mark Zuckerberg. I pay myself $1 a year. Yeah. All my comp comes in this deferred compensation, right? So clearly,
are you doing this to ducks Social Security taxes?
I don't know why. I don't know why I'm doing this.
Are you dodging payroll taxes?
I probably have already managed. I've probably managed to borrow against my collateral holdings in the company. So like I don't even need income. I can just do it all on debt. Very tax efficient.
That guy, I think probably he shouldn't have a say. You're right.
Why? What if he's employing 10,000 people?
That cheap guy should pay himself $100,000 a year.
You must take more salary if you want to vote. Damn it!
I almost think about that. Like, what happens if we had amount, right? Like, and I don't know the number, but let's just say it'd probably be cheap, surprisingly cheap.
Okay.
I don't mean cheap, but let's say it was $3,000.
Right.
For all, if every $3,000.
Yeah.
Taxes.
Yeah.
And you pay that.
Right.
You get to vote.
Right.
Like you agree. You voluntarily pay.
Right.
And you're like, hey, I don't have the money. I don't da da da. You don't pay any taxes.
Okay.
The federal government.
So everybody who pays $3,000.
I'm just throwing this at you.
Sure. Whatever the number is.
Yeah.
We pick a number. Some number.
Defense.
If you pay a minimum of this and you pay whatever you want in taxes, apparently.
Not whatever you want. I'm saying the basic services.
No. But what I'm saying is, like, you can choose. You can say, like, I don't have $3,000. I don't get to vote this year, but I'm not paying anything to the federal government. Yep. Like, I get what I get.
Yep.
Okay. And everybody else, like, pay $3,000 or $30,000. Doesn't matter. You get one vote.
Yeah, you get your vote.
Your one vote.
Yeah, your vote.
Seems like a very simple system, maybe.
Yeah.
I can see a lot of ways that you game that, but
yeah, there might be some gaming, of course.
Sure. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure that
think about how things would change, though.
How?
Because if people don't pay, if you don't contribute into a system,
right,
a high percentage of the time,
right,
you're gonna want the system to just pay you as much as possible.
Right.
If you're a contributor, you're gonna want to keep the costs lower. You're gonna be a lot more cost conscientious. Because when you have a sense of ownership, even.
Right. But I like really good schools and would rather pay more in taxes to have really good schools.
I think we do it at the community level. And honestly, a guy
so
like
then communities can then tax you?
First off, people, it's a lot easier if you tax at a community level.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier for you to move a town.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Versus a federal government.
Sure.
So I like a lot more. I'm a lot less concerned on a community level.
Okay.
But second, if you go on schools,
Right.
go get your kid a nice high private school. It's
Right.
perfect.
Right.
Go shell out a few bucks.
But it's not. I'm actually genuinely not that concerned about my kids' schooling.
Yeah.
I think schools are.
Well, you and your
good.
wife are pretty smart.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to teach them a few things, I hope.
I hope so.
Yeah.
But also, like, I think schools are good for communities. I agree. I think it'd be interesting to think about doing much more taxation probably at the state level. At the community level, you have a lot of perverse
I can't
incentives.
leave the state.
I mean,
I'm a lot more.
you can. I mean, the problem
with
is
much more difficulty.
But you look at, like Bangor, right? I mean, Bangor has become essentially a service center to deal with many social ills surrounding a lot of our communities, right?
Yes.
And if I can just move 5 minutes away to VZ,
Yes.
and now I'm not paying any of those taxes, but I can still get all the benefits of what Bangor has to offer, that's creating really bad perverse incentives. Like hollow out Bangor. Nobody live there because nobody wants to pay the taxes. Everybody moved to the surrounding communities. Oh shit, where'd our service center go?
This is almost Trump's idea. He was going to like fence off some areas,
right?
Send all the engineers to these fenced off areas.
So like I don't think you could do it. Maybe you could do it at the county level. I think you'd have to figure out the right layer of analysis.
You're going to love this.
All right.
So we have a mutual acquaintance, Owen, right?
Yeah.
And he's running for governor.
He is.
And he's a nice guy. And he came and we were talking. I think he's doing like a listening tour across the state or whatever.
Okay.
Right? And he's going to different people.
Sure.
So, I'm a troublemaker by nature, of course.
Okay.
And so he comes to chat with me.
Yep.
And the first thing I do is take him on a walking tour of Bangor.
Okay.
And he's game. He's a total gamer.
Yep.
And I was like, hey, you want to go for a walk around Bangor? And he's like, yeah, it sounds great.
Right.
So
you walk up the hill?
Oh, yeah. Take him down to the park.
Yep.
We saw at least 3 people smoking meth.
Oh, yeah.
We saw needles.
Yep.
And it's exactly your point, because if you have a person that's in trouble and drugs, crisis, whatever, housing, any of this, if they're in Orono, like you said, that Orono police officer is going to pull up in about 3 minutes.
Yep.
Right. If a homeless person rolls into Orono, they all know.
Right.
That BD's coming quick.
Right.
Okay, they're going to, how are you doing tonight, sir?
Right.
And they're not going to arrest him.
Right.
They're going to take him down here to the shelter.
Yep.
And in fairness, those Orono PD will probably call around to the shelters.
Sure.
And they'll try and find a bed.
Yeah, of course they will.
You know what I mean? But if they don't find a bed,
Yep.
they're going to go dump them off on the lawn here by the shelter.
Sure.
In Bangor.
Yeah.
Because Orono doesn't have any facilities.
They do not. Right.
And why in the world would they build a facility?
Right.
Because then all their surrounding towns are going to start sending them to that.
That's the problem. Right. That's why I think at the community level, you'd have to fix all of these things are super complicated, which is why you think you want really smart people, if they achieve their goals, to get paid a competitive wage.
But here's the problem too, is then, I would love those smart people. Unfortunately, they go work for Berkshire Hathaway or whatever.
Yeah, but that's why other countries in the world pay their politicians a lot of money to get the best and the brightest to serve in government.
Oh my word. So I guess
probably not their best and brightest, but like really intentional, dedicated people, not saying, well, I can make $30,000 a year working for my local city, or I can make $150,000 a year going to work for the engineering firm. Let me do the service, even though I got a long-term mindset. I know things that would be valuable to my community. I could help Bangor be better. But, who would serve in the legislature in the state of Maine? There's like $14,000 a year or whatever you get paid.
Actually, you can make bank. You know how you make bank with it?
I do not.
If you work for the Maine, I don't know if you know this little tidbit.
Okay.
But if you're elected, I think it's 10 years.
All right.
You get health care for life.
Okay.
That's worth like $700,000, $800,000. I don't know their exacts of their plan.
Okay.
But that's worth a bundle.
Sure.
Depending on how old you are.
Yeah.
Gosh forbid you're 35 years
right.
old or something.
Yeah.
You just cha-ching.
Right.
You just cashed in.
Right.
Oh my gosh. If Sarah.
Right.
Do you know how much If Sarah got free healthcare for life,
right?
You know how much she's taking them for?
Yeah.
That's like millions.
Yeah, but it's the same thing, right? I mean, you could make the same argument about the military.
But
you get a fighter pilot, there's a lot of things, right? But 20 years, you get a pension. You've never made what you were worth, like you said. I mean, you could have made a lot more money.
The pension's worth a lot,
right? You get a pension, and you get health care.
Yes, great benefits.
And right now, we're doing what to that health care? They're eliminating people working on the VA. They're eliminating all these places.
But a lot of what they're doing with the VA is bureaucrats.
I mean, maybe, but now when you call the VA...
They're not eliminating providers. That's a common misconception.
No, I know they're not eliminating providers, but now you call the VA, you're going to get somebody who's working in a...
Have you ever called the VA?
No, I have not. Because, you know what? I'm not a veteran. So what would they do for me?
Right.
They'd be like...
I assure you, I called the VA a few years ago, too. Okay. And it's not any... Yeah, it's not worse now.
It was not a great experience.
Yeah, you want some faith. You want to lose faith in the government. Deal with the VA.
Right.
I mean, I think the VA should be more of a much leaner, smaller organization, and a lot less bureaucrats.
Right.
And that makes me happy. As a veteran.
Right.
And I think it should be more of an insurance platform.
Okay. But
that's my personal.
Definitely not an insurance platform right now.
And what I mean by an insurance platform is basically veterans that are getting health coverage.
Right.
Should be able to go out in town. They should be able to use any doctor service they want.
Right.
And then the government basically acts as an insurance company.
I mean, the problem is we're seeing, of course, that doesn't work. I mean, it's the Medicare, Medicaid problem.
Well, the government's paying. I actually saw it the other day.
Yeah.
The hospital, I went for I had shingles.
Okay.
So I went to the hospital.
Yeah.
Thought my appendix was bursting.
Okay.
Like, hey. Well, I don't like to go to the doctor.
Sure.
Right? You know this.
Right.
I live with a PA, but I don't like to go to the doctor.
Got it.
So I haven't been to a doctor in 15 years.
That's not great, but keep going.
So, I got some appendix pain.
Yeah.
I go in.
Yeah.
They give a CAT scan.
Sure.
I got shingles.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you don't... Actually, this is the other funny part on a personal tidbit. The guy comes, the radiologist is like... he's like, hey, good news and bad news. And I was like, oh, okay, what's this? He goes, your appendix is good.
Right.
I was like, oh, this is
good.
Good news.
Sure, yeah.
And then he goes, you need hip surgery pretty bad. And I go, oh, which hip? He goes, both.
Oh. Well, there you go.
Great news.
Why not just do them both at the same time?
Great news.
It's like...
then they mess it up and you're...
That's right. Apparently 4 days is all it takes to recover. I was talking to somebody the other day. They were like, after 4 days, like I could walk, right? I just had my knee done. 6 months.
Pretty amazing stuff.
6 months on the knee.
Yeah. So,
anyways,
how do we get the incentives? So the VA, but I personally am a big fan of.
But you were talking about the
we got the bill
system.
We got the bill.
Yeah.
And it's like they're paying the hospital
a
fraction.
I know.
The hospital sends a bill.
Right.
It's probably ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then the government's like, we'll pay this number.
Right.
And I think it's the same as Medicare or close to
I'm sure it is. Yeah.
Very close to those rates.
Right.
And then why would that's
Except
that's not an insurance company. But it's worse.
But that's the problem, right? So then you get all these hospitals that have
more
and more people who have Medicaid, Medicare, VA benefits, all these other things, and they're like, well, we can't make this work because we can't.
And it's all backed up,
right? And we can't create, and these people who graduated medical school with $430,000 worth of debt are not coming to work here because
we want the best.
We're not paying them. Yeah, I mean it's a pernicious cycle of all of these things have to be balanced out.
Well, the problem also, we have 400,000 Mainers on main care. I don't know if you knew we had that many.
I did. It's huge. It's a huge number, which is both.
We got 1.2 million in the entire state, right?
Yeah, which is both a function of the fact that we got a lot of people who are not making a lot of money. Whether or not they're choosing not to make a lot of money, or there are no jobs, or they, I don't know. It's a mixture of all of that.
I don't think so.
Right?
I don't think the jobs are the problem, personally.
I think it depends on to what degree do you get to
Primo
choose
jobs?
where you live.
Yeah. Hey,
like, do you get to decide to live in Elliott Plantation, an unaffiliated
No.
And maybe Elliott Plantation is a lovely
Sorry.
place. I have no idea. I don't know.
Our hate mail's coming in.
Well,
send the hate mail.
I'm just saying, like, do you get to choose where you live, or do you say, like, oh, well, sorry, no insurance, there are jobs.
You don't
Move
get to
Alabama.
choose where you live. That's the beauty of the free market.
Right.
You have to serve.
Sure, but then in that case, why wouldn't you do taxation at the state level? You're saying, like, oh, I can't move out of the state of Maine. Well, you can.
I mean, I'm not saying we have zero function at a state level.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's certain statewide things.
Yeah, because you definitely don't want city by city the roads to be maintained.
Right, and maybe we have a more collective on certain basic things.
Sure.
But again, very basic.
Right.
And then on a community level,
right.
If I think we can, I like the idea of us taking a lot more community-based experimental stuff. And what I mean by that is like almost like the Greek city-states.
Mm-hmm.
Like you had Athens, you had Sparta, you had all these different systems.
Right.
And each system had pros, cons, da-da-da.
Sure.
I like that a lot where like if you and Bangor all decided together, like, we want to have community health care.
Right.
We want to all have one healthcare system.
Right.
We're all going to pay in. We're all going to share the bill.
Yeah.
Hallelujah. Whatever.
Right.
I think that's fine for Bangor.
Right.
And I'll be like, I'm going to get out of here by about noon.
Right.
You know what I mean? Dale's rolling to VZ quick.
Right.
And I'm going to live in VZ and I'm going to pay for my own healthcare.
Right.
But
Can I have an in-town and an out-of-town grocery rate?
Wait.
You don't live in Bangor. You got to pay $1.25 a pound for bananas.
Sure, I'm not gonna shop here, but yeah.
Well, but VZ can't stand up its own grocery store. Can't have a Hannaford.
You want to get a quick grocery store in VZ? Make some rules like that. Watch them come in.
I don't think so, man. I think that I don't know. I mean, I think that.
Do you see my point? I guess
I do see your point. I think it's just, but
there's
always these levels of trade-off.
I just like it on a community level,
right?
As much as possible when it's a choice.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can do at the community level, and that we already do. Yeah. But I think that there's far fewer things than you think can be done at the community level.
Whoa!
And you could build strong communities, and then weaker counties, and then weaker states, and then a weaker federal government.
Yes.
But I think what you'll just see is people saying, well, fuck it, if all the benefits accrue to my county or my city, then I'm just going to do that thing. And I don't need, I
don't understand what you're saying exactly.
I'm saying that if ultimately communities, cities are empowered at the greatest possible degree,
yes,
then at some point, why not just separate ourselves from the state? We no longer agree with any of the demands the state places on us. Why not secede?
Wow, now we're going down a deep hole.
But why wouldn't I do that? Like, I like community health care. My state's not supporting that in the right ways. I think that they're spending too much money on roads and they should spend more money on whatever.
I totally
so
get
we'll
it.
just pull out of the state.
And that, again, that's where that collective
But
defense,
why be collective?
The defense part is the number one reason.
But why do I care about that?
Because
why should I contribute to that?
Because I guess to me that's a fundamental.
Okay.
And the reason is you can't have anything nice if you can't protect it.
But why can't I protect it in my local community? I'll stand up a militia. Didn't Texas just vote to let Elon Musk?
Yeah.
It's a whole town.
Not the first time that's
just
happened.
Go crazy. You got $300 billion, you can build a nice.
He's trying to avoid having to get those permits cleared.
Right.
Like,
I know.
There's this thing to clear the beach,
right.
Evidently. He has to clear the beach, right?
Yeah. Well, we're violating the EPA all over the place, but that's okay.
Yeah. Well, it's hard. He said, cars be environmental.
Right.
Spaceships.
Right.
That's a little tough.
That is a little difficult.
It's a little difficult. I guess, and maybe Texas would be fine.
Right.
Because they could probably defend themselves just fine.
I mean,
every tough guy I know freaking lives in Texas.
In some ways,
like
that's probably true. Until you
do not want to invade Texas.
You launch 3 or 4 nukes, and then you don't have to worry about so much how many guns they have.
That's true. But guys in Texas, they'll quit. You're right. But I'll have to say, in most states,
sure,
can't defend themselves,
No.
right? But those Texan boys, you give them
Right.
about a couple weeks, they'd probably have nukes, they'd have a dome, it'd be like,
Right. But it's the same reason that you don't really want people going to pick a fight with everybody in the schoolyard. Like, I agree. Collectively, we need things like defense. But
if we can't get along,
if we suck all of this stuff down to the local level, if we suck too much of it down to a hyper local level, then we create an incentive structure that is backward.
Explain.
You're actually eliminating this sense of the greater good and service when you're saying, like, it's the only people you have to really pay attention to and make decisions for are people that you can see and feel and touch and interact with directly.
Aren't they the ones
and
that
the
care
people
about more
in Utah?
anyways?
Well, yeah, but they shouldn't be the ones that you care about more.
I guess it's so much easier to care. I'm not saying we don't care about every human on the planet to some degree.
Right.
Like inherently, I want every human on the planet to be happy and healthy and doing good.
Right.
I think all of us, the better Earth does, the better we all do, right?
Sure.
So
Yeah.
we're a collective.
Yeah.
To some degree.
Of course.
But the closer you are to my radius of influence,
right,
the more I care about you. That's natural.
I
We're
mean,
tribal.
I think that's very natural. And
Like,
what the
your
founders,
wife might watch this, so remember that.
the founders of this country,
Yeah.
I think, recognize, though, that you have to have a system that is way bigger than that. Because otherwise you end up literally with the Greek city-states, which spend as much time in war against one another as they did doing anything else.
I was just thinking about that.
Right? And so, like, that's not a good thing.
That's a collective defense.
I don't think you want Bangor going to war with Portland.
No.
I mean, we would win, but...
Maybe.
I mean, I think so.
I think so.
Good
we
about
got
that.
some heart.
We do, and we have a bomber wing here.
So,
or a refueling wing.
How useful?
We got airplanes.
How useful do you think our? Maybe we'll send our meth heads up there to pre-game a little.
I think that
start handing out some drugs or whatever.
I think that there are already plenty of people with myriad problems
looks like a war zone
in Portland.
It looks like
it's
a
really,
war zone.
really, it's just devastating.
I went to the fights the other day and I was like, this is a war zone. Like I went down a couple streets and I was like, well, we were talking about Owen, right?
Right.
And first off, he's such a graceful guy, by the way.
He's great.
And there was a trail right along the Kentucky here, you know, right?
That's part of the walking tour?
Yeah.
Okay.
There was like 10 guys,
Uh-huh.
okay? And maybe there was a few females too. I don't remember all the genders, but rough bunch.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I was like, if I was Sarah, like, would you... Owen and I are just trying to stay on the trail. Like, and this is city property, right?
Yeah.
I had to sidestep like I go into a crowd of mostly men.
Yeah.
I had to sidestep around a guy smoking meth.
Yeah.
And like I had to navigate my way through a crowd.
Yeah.
A collective.
Yeah.
How much do you think those guys are going to contribute? That group of are going to contribute to the militia, our Bangor versus Portland?
It's not good.
They look young too. That's the other part.
Yeah, there's a lot of lost young men in particular. I mean, the data are really scary.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I mean there's a whole generation of young men that are.
This is part of the manufacturing thing, isn't it? It's part of the messaging for the tariffs.
Yeah.
I think that's who he's trying to message to, right?
Could be, but he's lost. I mean, all the polls I've seen, he's lost ground with young men, with minorities, with like all across the board.
With minorities.
The tariffs,
have
just, you can't go on. It doesn't matter what you say in the interview about egg prices being lower. They're not lower. I just bought eggs this morning.
Yeah.
They're real expensive. Everybody should be able to have some chickens in their backyard to get some eggs.
Yeah.
Can't do that in the city of Bangor.
No. Can't have a rooster in VZ. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Is that because
no
they
roosters.
don't want any crowing?
Yeah, no crowing.
Got it.
No burning leaves either.
Oh, good.
You cannot burn leaves in VZ.
Okay.
VZ proper. Why you're You're right, because I see very capable young men
Yeah.
panhandling all
Yeah.
over Bangor.
Yeah.
And they're angry, right?
Yeah.
And that was part of what Trump's messaging was, right?
Yeah.
He said to those...
Yeah, you've been left behind in some way.
Yeah.
By a government,
manufacturing move?
by a government and by an economy that has changed and allowed people, I think, to get dislocated. But how you... these young men are not going to be adequately employed in whatever manufacturing returns, wherever it is that it returns, to transform that experience. Because somewhere they're getting lost. I don't know where. There's a lot of people, smart people right now, I think, trying to figure out, are they getting lost in a sense of self? Are they getting lost in education? Are they getting lost because they don't have a sense of place? I mean, I don't know what's driving that, but they're not graduating high school, or they're not graduating college, or they're getting into jobs in the short term, and then they're kind of dropping out of society in some ways. Does a new manufacturing plant in town help that?
Do they want to work there? Do they want to work?
I have no idea. But if they don't want to work, why not? Because work is, I mean, it's certainly not the only, but it is a major driver of purpose.
And I think you're right.
But they don't have a sense of purpose somehow. Or their purpose is something that I just don't.
And you're totally right.
Understand.
Like for me, and I think you're in the same boat, and we're lucky because I have a great house, home life.
Yeah.
Like my girl's really nice to me, and but I can't wait to get to work.
Mm-hmm.
My purpose is so important to me.
Right.
Like
me too.
Taking care of my clients is so meaningful for me.
Right.
I love going to work.
Right.
I love doing what I do.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get going every day.
Right.
I wake up like this.
Right.
Like you see my sleep stats.
Right.
So
yeah.
you know.
Right.
We're
4.5
hours. We're not always the biggest sleepers,
right.
you and I.
That's true.
Sarah crushes us on this.
That's every day.
Every day. So, but it reminds me. Have you ever read Tribes?
By who?
Sebastian Junger or whatever.
Yeah, I think I'm certainly familiar with the book. I can picture the title in my, or the cover in my mind.
Yeah. He made he kind of did looked at studies
mm-hmm.
from the 1700s and different time when there was colonization and kind of like, settle like European settlers.
Yeah.
And what he found is that when Europeans would go to native society, they often assimilated and never came back.
Right.
When natives came to European society, they always went back.
Right.
You gave them some freedom.
Right.
And they were heading for the hills.
Right. Right.
And life with like these tribes wasn't easy.
Sure.
You were battling hunger and other elements.
Right.
But I think there was something similar to that.
Okay.
I think these young men, they don't want to go to a place for 40 hours and be a tool to somebody else.
Could be.
I guess they, and maybe it's like they've been, I don't know, maybe they got pampered. Maybe they're like, whatever it is.
Right.
They don't want to go grind it out.
Right.
You can't find a dishwasher in Bangor.
Right.
Every restaurant in Bangor probably is desperate.
Sure.
For dishwashers.
Right.
It's hard to find people that want to work hard like that.
Sure.
For a few bucks.
Right.
So I guess what I'm saying is like, it's almost like our society has to, with our human nature.
What do you mean?
We're kind of meant to be hunter-gatherers, like, this is genetically what we are.
Okay.
We have to kind of find a way to assimilate that into society.
Right.
And I guess what I'm saying is like back to the manufacturing theory.
Yeah.
How many Americans now are like want to do work on the widget
right
all day, every day?
Right.
You're still finding these Chinese people that are willing to do it.
Sure.
How many Americans are you gonna?
Right. Well, I think that's the question. I mean, that's the crux of the whole issue here, right? Is that at the end of the day, if you're going to say we want to bring back this economy that was in the 50s,
post World War II,
right? Is society still there?
Right. It's a different place, isn't it?
It's a different place. And I think we all want to be in community. I don't know that we're all want to be hunter-gatherers. You and I were talking earlier about the...
I don't mean that like that.
No. But I think we want to be in community. I just think so often now we're not in community at all.
I think a bunch of those young men that we're talking about, if they had an option to go live with some kind of tribe out in the woods,
right,
they'd probably take it.
I don't think so.
Maybe not.
No, I don't.
They want a warm, easy meal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you want kind of that
3 squares,
that hedonic lifestyle, right? Like all I want to do is have. I mean, in some ways, right? The AI utopians, I'll call them, right, are going to tell us that AI plus robotics is going to take care of all of our basic needs. You're going to get your robot who's going to do this amazing job at your house, cooking all the vegetables.
Martha Stewart robot,
right? We're going to get all that. We're still going to have fulfilling and meaningful and purposeful lives based around our intrinsic interests and be driven to just pursue our passions. And I think it's just such a wild misread of humanity. Like for most of us, we need struggle to define purpose. Now, too much struggle is terrible, right? For some people, they thrive in that, and really, like, we have different breaking points and everything else. But like, there's a point at which you just break everybody. It doesn't matter who they are, right? Eventually, the struggle is just too much, right? But for most people,
you got to read this Vietnam memoir,
right? For most people, they need some of that stuff. This hedonic, idealistic, like every day all you get is to lay around in bed and entertain yourself and live the life of the mind, and you have all this food and everything is plentiful. Just seems to me to be totally disconnected from what I see as the people who genuinely, when you ask them, how are you doing? They are satisfied, purposeful, fulfilled people, even if they're not happy and like pleasure, filled with pleasure every moment of every day. We have to have some of that struggle.
Did the Romans figure this out?
I think somewhat. There's a lot of pieces to Rome. It depends on which Rome you're talking about. There was a lot of stuff there, right?
Empire,
right. But yeah, I mean, I think that that was for at least a period of time at peak Roman citizenry.
Okay.
Wait,
were we talking republic or empire? Just a curiosity. Where's the peak?
My impression is that it's in empire.
Right, during Marcus Aurelius?
Yeah, that's my impression. Yeah, Rome lasted for a really long time. So we could argue about that probably for quite a long time.
I consider Rome still going.
But, right. But
a lot of their property went to the church.
That's right. But there was a common sense of what it meant to be Roman.
That was a big thing about it, right?
And there was a sense of community even as there were citizens spread everywhere, right? And
that was a big thing. You remember that? Because originally, that's probably was the downfall of the Republic.
Right.
Because originally you had to meet these requirements, but they only let Roman citizens be in the army.
Right.
So then they had to.
Yeah. Right.
They left themselves in a rock and a hard place.
Exactly.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do we motivate these young men? Like, what do you think? How do we get them going?
Well,
how do we get them productive?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's a huge lift. I mean, it's important work. I don't know whether, back to our earlier point, whether you can do that at the community level or you have to do it I mean, like a lot of the work that FDR did right at the beginning of the Depression, right, was the creation of those citizen work programs to give people purpose, because otherwise you're hanging out destitute, starving to death, no sense of purpose. And all of a sudden it's like, here it is, we're going to go build. And it was better than starving to death on your, 2 or 20 or whatever 40 acres of land, right? So here
how many people are starving now? I mean these kids don't look like they're starving. These kids panhandling,
right? And
I don't know if it's true.
They're not thriving, but they're not starving.
And you can make a lot of money off the state now.
I have no idea.
Yeah, you can live a pretty bountiful life.
Right. I mean, I guess it depends on what you define as bountiful.
Well, I mean,
I would not think that what they're making off the state is bountiful. Would not afford me the lifestyle to which I would expect.
I don't see a lot of them wearing whoops.
That's true. Not a lot of them wearing whoops. The watch that you buy but you don't own. It's a great business model.
It is a great business model.
That's good.
Sarah hates it.
Well, I don't love it, but I love what they have been able to do with the device. And so you gotta...
The community thing's huge too, actually.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I think that's what has kept Garmin watches still going.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, you've got that Garmin community that's just deeply embedded.
So, but again, back to it. So, and is college become, I know we talk about it every time, but is college, I feel like Charlie Kirk, I have to argue with him inadvertently every day just about.
Okay.
About college.
Yeah.
And a lot of kids feel college is irrelevant.
Right. Right.
It's lost its relevancy.
Yeah. Which I think is, I mean, I'm sure in many places in the country that's true. But I think when you have, if you can keep the students at the center of the college experience, then college is inevitably not irrelevant. Now, I don't believe that everybody needs to go to college to live a fulfilling and purposeful life.
Really?
But if you choose to pursue higher education and you've got an institution that puts the student at the center of that experience, then not only are you getting education, but you're probably also getting some training, which I would say is distinct, and a sense of community. And you're connecting to people in an environment where all of that stuff is easier to do than it is easier to do at any other time in your life.
I don't know if one little, like, maybe a difference, right? Like,
sure.
You were like community, like student-centered.
Yeah.
And I'm not even sure that's what, I don't know if that's, I guess I'm like sometimes when things are hard, it's better for the students.
Sure. But it's better if it is hard, but designed to make the student better. If it's hard because I don't give an F about you, then that's not better for you.
Okay.
Right? And I think you could easily build a university that is centered around, I don't know, the university itself. Or like how much money can we make from the football team, or what, you could make it, you could build it around a lot of purposes and just make it hard for the student, not to make them better, not to, because calculus is hard. But if you learn learning this is essential for you to be an engineer. Okay, great, right? Then that's hard, but that's hard for a purpose. If it's just like this class is impossible because nobody cares, then that's not hard for a purpose. That's just like just being difficult.
When I think about college, and I actually, it's hard for me to say that I wouldn't want everybody to go, in fairness.
Right.
And the reason I say that is because it's my own children. I would be very disappointed if they don't go to college.
Right.
So it's hard for me to feel that way about my own kids.
Sure.
And it's not that I'm against going to skill-based learning.
Right.
It's the general education to me that makes your life so much better. And to me, it's even like learning how to write.
Right.
Learning how to research.
Right.
Learning how to think things through. Like, universally useful.
Right.
Math.
Right.
Science. Like, I always tell you this, but I took the biology for biology majors, right? And,
right.
The first day, he's like, about half of you are not going to pass.
Right.
And I was like, geez, I think I made a mistake. But I spent more time on that biology class than probably all my other 4 classes when I was in college.
Sure.
But I think back to that class.
Right.
And I don't mean it in like my time in the class.
Right.
I think about all the time like how cells are organized.
Right.
Homeostasis, like all this great stuff I learned in biology when it comes to supplements, physical training, my health.
Right.
Tons of my knowledge.
Right.
I have this foundational base.
Yep.
And to me, that's what college is about.
Right.
Is a lot of it is I want people to have that base.
Right. But that's a mindset, right? Because if instead you had rolled into that class and that professor said that and you were like, well, I'm going to drop this. I don't even need this for my major. I just need to get through my college degree, right? Which is where the whole, like, everybody going to college presumes that everybody goes to college for the education, not for the certification.
Right.
And I think that that's unrealistic. I think it's unrealistic no matter what. I think everybody should have the option to go to college.
Yes.
But I don't think we will ever get to the place where everybody is oriented around just being a better person.
Of course. And you know, a lot of colleges now there's a ton of free stuff online.
Yeah.
I mean, really pretty darn, I think, great material.
Yeah.
From universities.
I think so. I mean, I think that the problem that you see with the online stuff is you are the one who decides whether you know stuff in an online free training.
Kind of. In fairness, okay, so like Hilldale College, right?
Sure.
I did their course, Rise and Decline of Rome.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
They have 12 segments or whatever. And for me, it's not like...
Right.
I'm not there like... I work out in the morning, right?
Sure.
It's 45 minutes, the course.
Right.
You know, I'm doing my thing or whatever, and I got my speaker and a little screen, and I'm working out, and at the same time I watch my little course.
Sure.
Then at the end they actually have a quiz.
Right.
The quizzes are actually, they do a great job with the quiz.
Sure.
So I know if I...
Right.
And if I get less than an 80...
Right.
Which it's 10 questions.
Sure.
So if I get 2 wrong, I'll go watch it again.
Yeah.
That's my little...
Right. But how many people go watch it again? I mean, I literally have students who pay to come to the University of Maine and study business.
Yeah.
And they get the question wrong, and they're like, oh, that's a shitty question. I'm like, no, it wasn't. You just don't know the stuff.
Okay, so I think we're coming down to a lot about discipline, right?
Yeah.
And like Mike said this thing to me, our friend DeVito. Mm-hmm. He says, you know, I teach my kids discipline.
Right.
That makes them wolves among the sheep. And I always say this to you because it's so impactful for me.
Right.
But it's true as individuals.
Right.
So all those kids at the university that have discipline, they're the wolves among the sheep, proverbially.
Yeah.
They're the ones getting the most out of it.
Right. Yeah.
And actually, by the way, if anyone's watching, my best trick at college, I think it's the best.
Okay.
I take advantage of office hours.
Completely agree.
So
nothing could be more valuable.
So many of these, I would go to every office hour, as you know, because I annoyed the crap out of you.
Right.
As I did all my other professors that I liked.
Yeah.
You knew I liked you if I was annoying the heck out of you.
There you go.
You were a quality educator.
I mean, it's the ultimate college hack. It's free access to people who spend all of their time thinking about the thing that they're teaching you. Yes. It's perfect.
And not only that, but there's another secondary hack to it.
Uh-huh.
A lot of times you develop like relationships with these people.
Right.
And you know, like Morale and I, we're still pals to this day.
Yeah.
All because I went and annoyed him during his office hours about HR stuff.
Yeah.
And he taught me so much about HR.
Yeah.
Because I'm bugging him about his thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? This is his thing.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree.
And now, and frankly, I send him an email or like whatever about his thing.
Yeah.
He's going to help me.
Yeah.
Go moving forward.
Right.
To me, that office hours hack, and it kind of goes back to, I'm not a fan of online.
Right.
I'm a big fan of in-person
learning. Right. And I think that where that works for people, I think it's clearly a great way to learn. We just have a lot of people who, for one reason or another, can't relocate or, whatever.
I agree with it, the fact that I'm not saying we should, I personally believe if you get the certificate, the only way we should, I want to see whether that was an online or in person.
Yeah.
Because if, as a company,
I'm
not that interested. I'm ultimately hiring people because of their capabilities.
Yeah.
And I'm all about what their finished deal is.
Right.
But if you got an online education,
right,
that's worth a lot less to me. Virtually nothing.
Well, I
as a company.
Yeah, I don't know that that's defensible, but maybe. I mean, you can do whatever you want. You're the one hiring people.
I guess my point is that I want someone that showed up every day.
Right.
Honestly, I want the person too that wasn't hungover.
Right.
I want them.
Right.
I want them showing up, rested, prepared.
Sure.
And doing what they're saying they're going to do.
I mean, you're not going to know any of that stuff from their degree, but sure.
Well, if I was...
I want the computer engineer who trained himself online. Like, what good does him being in a classroom do?
Okay, all right, yeah, touche. But ultimately, we hire for skills.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
Right, yeah.
I guess what I'm saying, though, is it's, to me, there's something to be said. A lot of being a good worker is certain basic skills.
Yeah.
Fundamental, even kindness.
Yep.
Interpersonal stuff.
Yep. I mean, McKinsey's done a bunch of really great surveying, working with Gallup and others around what are the 21st century skills, and you see a lot of those. It's the ability to manage yourself and be self-aware. It's digital fluency. It's the ability to problem solve and manage projects. It's the ability to communicate and maintain relationships. I mean, it is all of those things that go beyond. Can you use QuickBooks or
I can't use that. I can't
Excel or whatever, right? And well, I mean, you could, right? But we gotta have some way as employers to assess. Do you have those capabilities? Because I mean, I can probably teach you to use my software, or to do my customer service, or to wash dishes. Like, I really just need to know about these other things.
It's tough, but it's almost like if college could get those fundamental skills of like discipline, like, you know what I mean, those core skills to make them powerful.
I mean, that's what the business school, certainly when we talk about the things that we carry across our degree program, are assurances of learning. The things we want all students to learn, regardless of what their major are things like how to be effective communicators, how to work in teams, how to be ethical decision makers, how to be engaged in critical thinking. Like, those are the things that we want to carry across the curriculum, in addition to the specific training in accounting or finance or whatever.
What's your final thoughts on the tariffs?
I think that they're right now they're a train wreck, and we're going to have to unwind a bunch of them, and hopefully we can end up in places where, in unwinding them, we haven't done things that make things even more chaotic than they are right now. There are places in the world that have used tariffs to advantage their own local industries and to punish the United States in ways that we should absolutely respond to. That makes no sense.
Give me an example.
I mean, I think you see it in
Germany.
You see it in China with the importation of EVs, right? Like, that was systematically like, we're just going to punish you and we're going to put a tariff on your stuff because we want to build our own local industry, which is they're called just like we're doing right now, right? That is something that should be responded to. Us tariffing vanilla from Madagascar makes no sense. The people of Madagascar are not going to buy anything that we really want to sell them, and we would really like to have vanilla because it makes baked goods delicious. We should not tariff that. That shouldn't be based on that. But unwinding them can't be, we struck deals with every country, and every country's now got a different rate, but everybody's got some rate. And as an importer or a manufacturer or anybody anywhere in a supply chain, you're constantly playing around with, it's 14% in Vietnam and it's 12% in the Philippines, but it's 8% in Indonesia. So let me figure out how,
and you manipulate your currency.
And in the meantime, all that does is it just guarantees that there's a bunch of people doing nothing more than helping you navigate the crazy landscape of tariffs that's just literally creating intermediaries.
Just like Russian oil.
Right. That's a mess.
It's exactly like Russian oil, right? Where
right.
You didn't buy any oil from Russia.
Right.
It had gone through this Turkey. Other country first. It went through Turkey and then...
And so we've already made a chaotic mess out of this whole thing.
Yeah.
We cannot make a chaotic mess out of unwinding it.
Okay, so let's just take China, for example.
Sure.
Let's say they put a 50% tariff on incoming vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
How does America respond to that?
I don't know. I think it depends on to what degree do we want to be selling vehicles into China, and to what degree do they want, like, what do we want to protect ourselves? Like, I'm not sure Tesla having access to China's market, or the American electric vehicle manufacturers having access to China's market, is as important as us protecting other domestic industries. Like the CHIPS Act and the ability to onshore thin film production and semiconductors.
Yeah.
I would much rather tariff Chinese semiconductors and keep and tit for tat that, because to me the semiconductor industry is way more important because it's a foundational industry.
See, but again, back to it.
Right.
Who really gets hurt by these? My point to you is, again.
Right.
So you're like, hey, we want to build manufacturing of semiconductors, which a lot of the problem is we don't have the workers.
Well, I mean, we do to make semiconductors, because those are great paying manufacturing jobs that in highly roboticized factories that are state of the art. We don't have the workers to make Barbie dolls.
I guess what I'm saying is it seems to me that people in Taiwan and these other places fit the workers better, are the better workers to make semiconductors, and I'm basing that off results.
Yeah, I mean, maybe TSMC is there, right?
Educated, and they are dedicated workers.
But there are building factories here because we've incentivized it, and we're going to make sure that it's worth their while. And I don't believe that tariffs should be persistent.
I have a personal belief about the CHIPS Act myself.
Sure.
But, and I'm more like peeing down the drain, But I guess what I'm saying is if we... Okay, but my point is first off, every dollar we tax China on those semiconductors is more I'm going to have to pay for my phone, my thing, anything that gets sourced.
Right. I mean, you already do that on defense.
Right.
And presumably,
defense is presumably a little different.
Maybe.
Because
you can't do defense without semiconductors.
And this is why we have to keep America productive.
Right.
We have to keep America able to make things.
Sure.
It's a lot easier to defend ourselves.
Tariffs are a critical tool in a toolbox for short-term specific purposes, right? Because if you let Chinese goods flood the market, subsidized by the Chinese government, then that is not a libertarian or a capitalist interaction at all.
I don't see why not.
Because if the Chinese government is able to print money to allow their organizations to sell below market and to take over all those markets.
I think it's great.
Well, that's insane.
Well, okay, so first off, we're buying their cheap stuff, right?
Sure.
But at the same time, there's a lot of other Asian countries that are right there ready to manufacture.
Okay.
Not as effectively as China.
Okay.
China's crushed it.
Sure.
But they have the workers, they have a lot of things going on to make cheap stuff.
Sure.
But China's never going to be good at everything.
Okay.
You know what I mean? There's always these natural pockets and niches.
I mean, I don't think that there's any evidence to back that up.
People, I guess what I'm saying is that people in certain places are going to be good at this. Certain places are going to be good at this.
I don't... I mean, maybe. I've never seen any evidence that the whole notion of like the comparative advantages of nations actually bears itself out over any length of time.
I guess there's geography at play, there's ports, there's a lot of stuff, infrastructure, there's certain things our population will be good at, and certain things it won't be.
Okay.
Now, and maybe that shifts, with incentives.
Right.
But I guess it's like, ultimately it really is about us being able to produce in America, right?
We have to produce the stuff we need to produce, not to say we have to produce everything.
And so China floods us.
Right.
We ship shoe production
to
China. We don't produce shoes anymore.
Right.
then theoretically they up the price on us.
Right.
Maybe, but then someone else will produce the shoes too.
Maybe.
Vietnam or something.
I mean, again, these are really complicated. Because we're not talking about company to company now. Now we're talking about sovereign nations, and maybe they do, or maybe China's out, bullying the Philippines and the South China Sea and being like, you want to sell some more shoes, we're going to sink more of your fishing trawlers.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's a bunch of interactions there that are not market-based.
They're actually ramming each other.
Right? I know they are. They're not... These are not market-based interactions. Now we're playing with all sorts of different levers that exist here, right? I mean, and so I think you have to be really careful to say, like, oh yeah, it's great. Anything that's driving efficiency in the short term, that might make sense, but in the long term, you'll lose all that productive capacity if you can allow a sovereign government to break markets, which is really easy to do
for a short period.
Oh, I just look at every regulated utility in this country. Not for a short period, forever.
Explain.
Well, they just regulate a monopoly, and then Versant comes in and says, well, we need more money.
Yeah, of course.
And what are you going to do?
Always need more money.
Right. What are you going to do?
It's
you have no
terrible
alternative, right? And so here you go.
That's a lot different, though, because that's a lot different from us being able to buy from anywhere in the world.
I'm not saying we shouldn't be able to buy from anywhere in the world. I am saying that when you have state-owned companies in China, right?
Yeah.
And they are able to flood markets and then put local competitors out of business and then do whatever the hell they want on the basis of some sort of connection to a sovereign government that can print money, that's not capitalism. That's not efficient markets. That's efficient markets plus a whole bunch of other stuff.
I guess shoes, right?
Sure.
So, but putting a tariff on Chinese shoes, isn't gonna. That's gonna be a tough way to bring back shoe manufacturing.
Totally agree. And that's where I think you got to
those young men we were talking about. They don't want to make shoes.
No, you got to pick the essential industries, and shoes is not one of them. And I'm not pro 150% tariffs on China across the board. Like, I think clearly this is gonna
semiconductors.
In both cases, in both China and the U.S., you've already seen a Q1 slowdown.
Of course,
we know Q2 is going to be a nightmare, right? So we're driving ourselves in a way in both countries to cause economic hardship on the basis of a trade war that is not even really a war. Like, we're not trying to accomplish anything other than to make America great again, whatever the fuck that means, right? And you're right. Those young men don't want to make shoes. It's a shitty job.
Doesn't seem like it.
Right? There's just...
They don't even want to go to school.
Right.
So I mean, if you don't go to school, you want to make shoes.
I think tariffs, I think all of these trade policies, they all have tools. Just like what the Fed does. It's always a tool. But we can't just drop interest rates to zero forever and be like, ha-ha, economy go, right? We know that doesn't work. We know that universal tariffs don't work. When it's used as a tool with purpose around some understanding of what it is we're trying to accomplish, it can be really effective.
I mean, I would feel a lot better about a sniper shot than, blindly.
Just right. Shotgun shells into the air.
Shotgun shells in the air.
All right. We're good?
Yeah, baby.
Good recipe, or good recipe. Good episode.